This is the story of a baby who was lost in the fast current of a river. It happened when a young mother named Ayu was washing clothes on the bank of the river. Her mother-in-law, who was also named Ayu, was killed by a white tiger. The young mother must have lost her baby, but a white tiger came to rescue the baby. Let's watch the story until we reach the village of Selesayagi Bright River. There we will see Burkaudion, Sawaudanan, and Lei. In the end, we will unravel the mystery and see the serenity of a loving mother. Her family is not far away from where the baby is. Little Arin, who is 6 months old, is lying on a soft blanket. She's smiling and playing with her own hands. A gentle breeze is caressing her red cheeks. King, don't go anywhere. She smiles at me with a gentle smile sometimes, glancing at her tiny baby, looks happy. But the sound of the river, heavy and busy, makes Ayu not realize that Arin has begun to move her little body and slowly approach the edge of the river in the middle of washing. The sparrows suddenly began to chirp loudly in the tree branches near Ayu. It seemed like they were trying to warn her about something. Ayu turned her head and glanced around, but she did not see anything suspicious. Meanwhile, Edun was running down the riverbank, trying to follow the flow that carried the baby, but the river was too swift, and the king had already gone from sight. Rudy, Ayu's husband, was working in the rice fields not far from the river. He heard the cry of his wife, Ayu, running barefoot and feeling the world as if the tears were falling. However, the king's small shadow kept slipping away, following the flow of the river. The end of the day was now clear, and it was like the wind had stopped blowing. There was just a quiet atmosphere with the rumbling sound of the river. It was a story about a baby, a small stream flowing towards the river, and the quiet morning had turned into a torrential stream that swallowed Harapan Ayu and Arin's body. Teeny was carried away by the current, bushes away. The king, desperate and panicked, called out his son's name. His voice was filled with fear, and his eyes were filled with tears as he searched for his son. The river water splashed against his face, but there was no answer. It was just the sound of the wind and water, like he was running out of time. He ran across sharp rocks and tree roots, ignoring the small wounds on his feet. In the distance, he saw a mighty white tiger drinking by the river. Opposite the tiger was a creature rarely seen by humans, a myth among the villagers. Protected by its white fur, with a clean and sharp gaze, it looked like a mysterious ranger. When he put his head down to drink, his eyes caught a movement in the water. A tiny baby looked up at him. Without hesitation, the white tiger leaped into action. His powerful claws gripped the slippery rocks. His body held strong, so as not to slip and join the baby. The little body of the king moved with fast and precise movements. Almost suddenly, the baby started crying. But the warmth of the white tiger's fur immediately made him calm down. The tiger brought the king to the edge of the river. It licked the baby's face as if to say, "You're safe." Sarah, who was unaware of what had just happened, looked on in awe. The king finally fell to the ground, exhausted and despairing. Arin, his mother, whispered softly before falling asleep. She was hoping to find traces of her baby, but that hope felt further away, like the river that carried the king on the other side. The white tiger carried the baby to a hidden cave in the middle of the forest. Inside, it was warm and cozy, protected from cold and danger. The tiger gently laid the baby on some dry leaves, then licked her tiny face to make sure she was okay. The king laughed, as if he understood. It is now in the hands of the protecting, the white tiger, a guardian's instinct to feel something special in this baby. Today, in the midst of tragedy, a new bond began to form between Ayu and Rudy. The story has taken a direction that was never previously imagined, as the baby, Arin, finds comfort in the arms of the white tiger. Hidden in the forest, surrounded by the warmth of the white tiger's body, The cold night no longer threatens the baby. Due to the soft fur, Arin's tiny body is protected, and he begins to calm down. In a low voice, he babbles like he is talking to a new friend. Save the white tiger with his protective instincts looking for food sources, for baby Itua, seen crawling among the bushes to find plants with small fruits, thriving plants that leave the son of the king of Canaan, Susuhati Harimawetik, Darsabutu. Cave-dripping sap that night. The Lion King took control with great care. He took the goose CM. Itundi, my mother is a tiger, the full Keber and B, Kakan Perit, full-bodied, the house of the hidden king in Arin Rud Yangangam. Don't touch it. Don't touch. Mena entertains Ayu and Rudy. However, an eerie silence envelops the house. It's a dream. Come true, king. The sound of crying is far away. Wake up with the rudation. Desagaraja, Arinkan, Inatan. The villagers helped search across the pond, but there is no trace found. Hope begins to fade, but the love of the people parents in his son never extinguished. The days passed, and baby Arin began getting used to his new life. The white tiger is not only a protector, but also a fully fledged teacher. He taught Arin how to crawl on the floor of the cave and showed her beautiful flowers growing nearby. At dawn, the white tiger took the king outside the cave for a breath of fresh air, where they saw little birds flying around and colorful butterflies dancing in the air. The baby Arin laughed, seeing the beauty of the forest that usually seemed silent became more alive. The next morning, he saw a small bird who had fallen near them. The bird was wounded on his wings. The white tiger gently showed the king how to care for the bird. The little one imitated the movement of the white tiger, trying to help with his fingers. The little bird was eventually healed and became their new best friend. The white gave him his name because of the song he sang so often over the head of the king. In the forest, the king's son, I'm looking for good harps, and you, young Lindung. They build stories full of magic, Sungai Lindung Ayu and Rudi Village. Don't. Stop searching for Arin, though. Time goes by every morning, Rudy. Go down the river to the neighboring village and ask anyone who might have seen a baby. They will tell you Ayu, although her body is weak due to the pain of trying to help them get to their home. Residents, Arin, our son, please help us. We found him, he said to the neighbor, who is a neighbor of the village. The village is surrounded by light, and in the middle of the forest, there is a smile. Next to him stands a golden white tiger that looks dashing. When you wake up, tell your dream to the white tiger, Rudy. He may have been protecting the king from the Rudy white tiger. His eyebrows aren't just a myth, they're real. If it's true, we'll look for him in the forest with renewed vigor. Meanwhile, in the middle of the forest is Arin, who has now begun to walk and is getting familiar with his surroundings. The new white tiger, Arin, has always been nearby, making sure the little baby was safe. He often played around the cave. I'm with you, little bird, becoming his loyal friend. They chased butterflies, picked flowers, and laughed happily among the chirping birds of the jungle. One day, the king took Tiger to a secret place in the middle of the forest. There was a small waterfall that emitted a rainbow when the sun's rays reflected on it. The king laughed at the beauty of the rainbow, pointing to it underwater. Patiently, Tiger taught Arin how to play in the water. He showed him how to jump small kegs without fear, wet soy sauce flying around them, singing cheerfully. But forest life was not always fun. It was always the king who played. Suddenly, an evil crocodile appeared from behind the waterfall. Tears flashed sharply and the crocodile lunged at them. The king, with his harpsichord, tried to divert the attention of the crocodiles with the flapping of his wings. It was a tough fight, as the white tiger used its claws and teeth to fight the crocodile, Sarah. The frightened king hid behind a boulder, but the white tiger managed to injure the crocodile and drive it away. Despite the bite on his shoulders, the king slumped and hid, hugging his white tiger, tears running down his cheeks. "Don't worry," Errol said. It's just like I am. I don't know what to do." Rudy and Ayu, who heard the story, felt confident that the king would find the baby and bring it back to them. The king, determined, entered the forest despite the danger. The forest was full of wild animals, but he didn't care. "I will find him," Rudy said with courage. "Take my hand. I'll follow the UK's nocturnal animals that make you goosebumps." The shadow of a small face becomes their encouragement. "Let's go ahead, but wait a minute," Rudy said. "Ayu, stop to draw. We must hurry if the night is getting late. We don't know what danger will arise." Rudy's wife continued to walk, finding small footprints nearby. This trail could have belonged to Aaron, the man with the red eyes. Rudy nodded, filled with hope. They followed in those footsteps until they reached a cave hidden in the thick of the trees. In the cave, the white tiger was resting, guarding Aaron, who slept soundly beside him. The cave door opened, and Ayu and Rudy approached. "Remember, Harimiki is close to the water, but it's so low you won't let it get ready." "Ayu, that's a R. Then raise your head, me permission to." Ayu approached. Ayu, walking slowly. Her tears were unstoppable. "The little king, this was my son, King." The whisper was purr. Rao was crying for her. That part didn't last long. An evil crocodile followed the trail. They emerged from the river, storming towards the direction of the cave, with the bad intentions of the white tiger. The wounded immediately stood in front of the family, letting out a roar that echoed throughout the forest. With the rest of his energy, he fought crocodiles in a fierce battle. Faithful flies circled around crocodiles, trying to distract Rudy's enemies who did not want to be silent. They took great rents and helped repel crocodiles. It was a fight. Long live the white tiger. They used their claws and teeth to fight, but their wounds made movement weakened with strength. The last white tiger defeated the evil crocodile, forcing him to retreat back to the river. However, the fight made the white tiger seriously injured, and he was on the floor. "Guanyair Sengao Rud." The tiger smiled and nodded, his eyes. "I'm going to slow down peacefully." The last one in the middle of Arinelu's mop, crying at the sacrifice of the hares. "I'm going to look at Arena's bag. A tiger in a tree, banyan tree, Besat, the love and affection of Rudy." And Aaron finally returned to River Village, protect their welcome, with joy by the neighbors. The news about the heroic white tiger spread throughout the village. Becoming a legend about courage and compassion, an animal king grows up. The story of the white tiger, save him, he learns about the meaning of courage, sacrifice, and true love. The creature that was once the shelter under the banyan tree where the white tiger was buried. Aaron often comes to lay flowers, a memory of a dear friend who has died, become a part of his life.